Hello, everybody. Our company name is Elite Productions, and here is our presentation. Elite Productions is based in Los Angeles, California, and was founded by 6 graduate business students from Cal State LA. We are dedicated to providing high-quality consumer goods at a competitive price. The headquarters for Elite Productions is located in America 2, with office in America 1, America 3, America 4, and NYSTOC. The executive board consists of our CEO, Drew Dunn, the CFO, Edward Zhuan, the CIO, Anita Volskanyan, the VP of Marketing, Carla Sanchez, the VP of Operation, Michael Keeling, and VP of Sales, Yi Du. Our mission is to provide high-quality care and services to our members and to be the leader in every market we serve. To benefit our customers and our shareholders, Elite Productions is committed to maintain excellence, respect, and integrity in all aspects of our operations.
Throughout the PowerPoint, we will be speaking about the corporate and business strategy, performance targets, analysis of functional strategy, operations and product management, financial management, and SWOT analysis. First, we're going to start with the corporate strategy. At the corporate level, Elite Productions incorporates 3 facets to its strategy. The first one would be pursuing opportunities to leverage cross-business value chain relationships and strategic fit to competitive advantage. Part of our corporate strategy is to have a plant in NYSTOC that will continue to obtain all of the sales associated with NYSTOC and have a plant in America to reduce our shipping cost. After we rolled this out, we realized that we could have actually ended up with a lower production cost if we would have expanded in NYSTOC because the shipping cost was less than the impact of the increased cost per unit in the Americas. The original corporate strategy was less than the impact of the increased cost per unit in the Americas. The original corporate strategy was to have a site-specific plan so that one plant could accommodate all of NYSTOC area and one plant to accommodate the Americas. In doing so, we thought that we could increase productivity in Americas to reduce our unit production costs while reducing that we could increase our margin. With the reduced shipping cost, we could have a relatively similar margin between 2 plants. The second facet would be establishing investment priorities and steering corporate resources in the most attractive business unit. Elite Productions tried to heavily invest in training. A few of the big corporate strategies was investing in training, increase productivity, reduction of production costs, and increase our margin. We wanted to do this while at the same time expanding our America plant to accommodate future industry growth. Majority of our investment went to America plant because we wanted to have high efficiency, high consistency, and reduced costs for increased productivity. This was our main focus and money source that would provide for the growth of the business. We did know that eventually we were going to reach a capping point and we were going to expand the NYSTOC plant, but that was further down the line, more in year 7 and 8. The last facet would be to initiate action to boost combined profit of all corporations and collection of businesses. We wanted to stay closely related with our existing business lineup. Elite Productions wanted to stick with what we were good at. We did diversify and were the main market share leader in the industry, but we wanted to have consistent, loyal customers, and we didn't want to have a lot of swings and changes. Hopefully down the line in the future years, we could have tried to diversify a little to bring in new people into the market and try to tap on some areas that still had opportunity. Our main focus as a corporation is that we wanted to stay consistent, keep our customers, maintain and take care of our loyal customers. One goal of our business strategy was to develop our production plant in America 2 and establish a production plant in NYSTOC in order to support all of the sales associated with those respective regions. Our goal was to reduce shipping and inventory storage costs. Combined with this, we expected to reduce our unit production cost by increasing productivity in the America 2's plant through research and development and employee training. With those two approaches, we felt that we could increase our profit margin significantly enough to lead the industry in performance. Elite Production invests heavily in training to increase productivity, reduce production costs, and increase our margin. At the same time, we expanded production in America 2 plant to accommodate future industry growth. The largest portion of our investment went to America 2 plant in order to have high efficiency, high consistency, and reduce cost for increased productivity. The three America regions are where the majority of sales and revenue and future for the growth of the business was. We did know that eventually we were going to reach a capping point and we were going to expand the Nystock plant, but that was further down the line.
The next topic that we will be looking at is the performance targets. In this section, we will be looking at the ROA, ROE, market share, stock price, unit production cost, and total net income. The following charts show the company's performance targets when comparing forecasted measures to actual measures. The forecast measures are displayed under the target category, whereas the company's actual performance are displayed under the actual category. When analyzing Year 5's performance, there is a very small deviation with our performance targets. For return on assets, our target was 17.6%, and we had an actual of 16.9%. This was due to the fact that we did not hit our net income target. We missed it roughly by $500,100, which resulted in a lower return on asset percentage than we had expected. The Year 6 for return on asset target was 15.8%, and our actual was 19%. The reason for this was because we had lower assets than we had originally forecasted, and we exceeded our forecasted net income. For return on equity, the situation was somewhat similar. Even though we had a lower income, we had a low rate of return with a target of 23.9% and an actual of 23.5%. If we would have been able to hit our net income, we would have been able to exceed on the return on equity. For Year 6, the return on equity target was 21.3% and the actual was 25%. Similar situation with our return on assets, our return on equity was a lot less than what we had forecasted. For stock price, we have exceeded our target, which was $2.75, and the actual was $2.80. Although we did not hit our net income, we have been able to manage things and come in with a higher stock price, which we are very comfortable with. For Year 6, our stock price had a target of $3.85, and our stock came in at $4.09. The increase in the net income and profitability is what drove up the increase in the stock price. For total net income in Year 5, we had forecasted $3,540,000, and we came in at $2,160,000. A majority of our variance were driven by the results we had for net income. We missed our total net income, which produced lower financial ratios. The reason we missed this was because we did not hit our total sales, even though we did hit our percentage, but the issue did not grow at the rate at which we thought it was, as well as our period expenses. For Year 6, our target for net income was $3,669,000, and our actuals came in at $3,990,000. This was related to the change in the schedule for price increases. We started increasing our prices faster and at a higher rate, which helped to improve our total net income and increase a profitability for the company. Our target share was 25%, and the actual was 24.5%. The approach we have been taking with advertising, being consistent, and coming in with a lower price has helped us maintain market share in Year 5. For Year 6, the market share target was 25%, and we hit our target, which is due to consistency in advertising price and our business. For the unit production costs in Year 6, we had a target price of $4.71, and we came in at $4.50. The increase in training has helped to increase our productivity and reduce our unit production cost, which has helped us increase our margin. The increase in our margin has helped us hit our total net income target and exceed it. The decline in the industry is what helped us have a lower net income than what we should have had in the result we had in year 6. Next, we get the year 5 industry analysis. When it comes to year 5, Elite Production offers the second highest ROA in comparison to Company 2 for that year, which leads the industry. Our company also offers the second highest ROE in the industry with a rate of 24% for year 5. When it comes to market share, Elite Production had the biggest portion of the market with 24%. For the stock price, we see that Elite Production's cost was $2.80, trailing behind Company 2. In looking at the unit production cost, Elite Productions has the 4th most costly UPC in the industry for year 5. And when it comes to total net income, we can see that Elite Productions falls in 4th place, trailing behind companies 1, 2, and 3. Now, for year 6, the company gained on some key performance targets. When it comes to ROA, the company brought in 19%, which is a higher rate than year 5. This puts the company in 2nd place for ROA. When it comes to ROE, the company brought in 25%, which was higher by 1% in year 5, and placed the company in 3rd place. As for the market share for the company, it increased by 1% to 25% and kept the company in 1st place. The stock price for year 6 rose to $4.09, keeping us in 2nd place. In looking at the unit production cost, we see that the cost rose by a few cents to $4.50, putting Elite Productions with the 3rd highest cost. Finally, we take a look at the total net income, which was $3,990,000. In comparison to year 5, we can see that it substantially rose and put Elite Productions with the 2nd highest net income.
Hello everyone, my name is Edward Duran and I'll be talking about the functional strategy pertaining to salespeople. What we wanted to do as a company is we wanted to increase our salespeople to have, as the industry increased in growth, so that we had enough salespeople to accommodate the growth in the industry as well as increase our market share. We didn't want any of our salespeople to be overwhelmed, so the rate that we increased our salespeople was in proportion to the growth that we saw from the models. Consistent, the same thing with the salary levels. We know there's going to be inflation and increase in costs, and we wanted to increase their salary to offset that. Some with the base salary as well as some with the commissions aspect, mainly because we wanted to keep our salespeople. We didn't want to have to worry about retraining salespeople, learning curves, and affecting our market share. As you can see, our targets in year 5, we exceeded our salespeople for America 1, as well as we exceeded our target in America 3. We came a little under in NISTOC though, but I believe that the reason our actuals came in higher is because we increased our market share in both of those areas. So we wanted to be able to have enough salespeople to accommodate the growth that we had in those areas. Now, in year 6, when it comes to salespeople, we came under in all of our targets except for America 3. In America 3, the reason we hit our target is we started losing market share, and we wanted to get more salespeople out there to try and get the name out there and get more people trying to sell to bring our market share back. In the other areas, we had such a consistent growth and consistent market share, we felt it would be a sunk cost, and we didn't want to mess up the mix that we had at the different sales locations. When it comes to salary levels, as our sales were increasing, we wanted to take care of our people. We wanted to make sure that we didn't lose them. There was an anomaly in year 5 actual for NISTOC. It was a typo on one of the submissions. It should have been 12,000. It was, but we had put 17,000 in. So that we fixed that the following quarter, year 6, quarter 1. But as you can see, we were trying to attempt to increase salary levels, increase commissions faster in America 3 to be able to gain our market share back. But one of the things that we think was the issue is that some of the other companies were able to get their newer models out to market before us, and it really affected us. And we weren't able to be ahead of the curve consistently with a better price. Next, I'll talk about the functional strategy for our products. price that we wanted to have kind of high nice, a slow increase of product price, and this to maintain our market share, be the lower cost for the product in the industry, as well as we were planning to increase our advertising spend by about 10% a quarter, so that we could get our name out there, create a loyal customer base, have a consistent brand, and people to know us. As well as our sales, we forecasted our sales based on the forecasting tool. With conservative assumptions, but as you can see, our actuals, we ended up having to increase our price at a much faster rate than we had originally expected, which to keep up with the market as well as keep our net income up. We were hoping that our production costs would be lower due to our increased training that we've been spending, which would increase our productivity and reduce our cost. Our advertising spending was basically where we had planned it to be, but our sales fell off. As you can see in America 3, we didn't hit our target. We were nowhere near our target. We lost a lot of market share, but we increased our market share in other areas, and if you take into consideration the decline in the total growth of the industry, we roughly maintained our goal of 25% market share. Similar situation in year 6. We escalated our price at a much faster rate to stay with the industry. Our advertising spending fell off a little towards the end because we just weren't seeing any more return on it. We maintained our market share, our customer base in America 1, 2, and NISTOC, and in America 3 we continue to maintain a lower market share. So we wanted to reduce our advertising spending to increase our net income. And similar situation for sales in year 6. We were strong in America 1, 2, and NISTOC, and we came in very low in America 3. Our goal is to focus on increasing market share in America 3 in year 7, and continue to increase our productivity and improve our net income. Thank you.
Next, we will be looking at the operations and product management. In year 5, our target research and development total spending was $648,000, and our actual was $640,000. We had a pretty consistent approach to increase quarterly about 10% and really drive the research and development spending so we can try to get our new models to market before the other companies. We maintained this at a majority of the time, however, we did slip by 1 quarter. This was when we we're planning on rolling out our next model in the 4th quarter in year 5, and we did not get it out until the 1st quarter of year 6. In year 6, we noticed that our original target was 789, and we actually ended up hitting 696 for the actual. The reason for this was because we started getting to a point that we did not want to continue to increase if we did not see a return. And with the market slowing down just as a whole, we seemed to still be able to hit the target out as slower spend of research and development spending. We did not want to have any waste research and development. We reduced our spending by roughly $100,000 because we were not seeing a return on it. Like we stated before of the R&D, the product model that was produced, we were planning to hit Model 4 in year 5 Q4. We will only hit Model 3 because we did not roll it out until Q1 of year 6. In the same situation that happened with year 6 until Q1 of year 7, and this is the reason why we missed our target for the model that was produced in a year. The total training expense for year 5, our target was $1,270, our actual was $1,210. We had to do with the slight variance in the exchange rate and the actual for when we added our product line. Relatively, we were in the area of what we expected for training expenses so that we could reduce our production cost as well as expand our product line to accommodate what we had originally forecasted for sales. In year 6, the target was $1,428 and the actual was $1,224 for total training expenses plus because we reduced our product line. Also, we reduced our training expenses because we did not have as many people that we needed to train. We also seemed to still be productive and hit our cost saving level, and we obtained a high cost saving level that we originally intended. We were able to do this with less training expenses. The cost level that our target was year 5 was cost saving level was 4. Our actual was 4, so we hit our target in the training expenses that we were providing, supplying, investing, and our company returned an expected level that we had forecasted. In year 6, we did not hit our target training expense. We still were able to hit a higher cost saving level than what we had forecasted. The target was level 5 and we achieved level 6, and we think the reason why we did this is because although we reduced our training expenses, we did reduce our total head because of 2 second shifts that we had eliminated in year 6. We were able to obtain a higher level of cost savings because of increased productivity because of our training. The beginning inventory target was 215,000 and our actual was 215,000 in year 5. In year 6, our beginning inventory was expected to be 121,000 and our actual was 367,000. This was a direct result of the industry not hitting the expected growth that we had originally forecasted, which left us with excess inventory, which also resulted in us eliminating 2 of our second shifts for production lines, which affected our training expenses as well as some of our R&D spending and our other components that were related to period cost. Our target storage expense in year 5 was 191,000 and we achieved an amount that was actually less than the amount of 137,000. This had to do with the fact that we had less of a holding inventory than we had originally expected, and we were producing at a rate that was consistent with our sales. And in year 6, we had a target of 203,000 for storage expenses, and our actual was 449,000. Reasoning for this was because of early expansion to accommodate growth in the industry, and the growth in the industry did not actually happened and left us with excess inventory, and was the driver that caused us to reduce our second shift lines. We eliminated 2 of them because we had too much of an excess inventory that we weren't able to sell enough product to eliminate excess inventory. The active production lines of the first shifts, the target in year 5 was 10, and we did not make any changes in year 5 or year 6 to our first shift lines. We knew that it was the foundation of our consistency of sales, and we wanted to maintain that for second shift lines in year 5. We also maintained our 8 second shift lines at the end of the year because of the forecasted growth that we had expected. In year 6, like stated above, our target was 8 second shift lines, and we were going to maintain that through the year 6 originally, and then in year 7, we were going to expand further because of the forecasted growth. Due to the decline in the industry total, we eliminated to have a second shift line, and that reduced in the variance in year 6, and we ended in year 6 with the 6 second shift lines. The production output for domestics in year 5, our target was 200,704 units, and our actual was 200,704 units. The reason for this was because we did not eliminate any other lines, and all of our forecasted first and second shift lines stayed active for the entire year 5. In year 6, our production output for domestic plant was expected to be 349,000. We actually produced 2,912. This was due to eliminating the second shifts in year 6 because of the decline in the total industry that we had expected. The total units shipped to sales offices targets in year 5. The total units shipped to sales office target in year 5 was 3,120 and our actual was 1,880. This has to do with excess inventory and the fact that we did not need to ship as many actual products to each of the locations. In year 6, our target was 3,931 and our actual was 1,603. A lot of this dealt with direct relation to decline and what we had forecasted in sales, so we did not end up having to ship as many to the sales offices, and we ended up holding a lot of inventory in our main location in America too. The total units shipped to customers in year 5, our targets was 3,214 and our actual was 2,991. The reason for this delta was because of the reduction in market share in America 3, the increase in the other America 1, America 2, and then NISTOC offset some of the loss that we had America 3 accomplished by not hitting the target for the industry growth that we had originally expected, is what drove the delta from our expected units shipped to our actual units shipped. In year 6, our expected units shipped was 3,913 and our actual was 3,225. This was the same reason as year 5, the industry did not grow.
We'll be looking at the actual versus planned financial management for the years 5 and 6. In years 5 and 6, the actual results hit our planned targets without having to get any bank loans. For year 5, we didn't plan to take any bank loans or invest in any time CDs. We didn't see any need to issue or purchase any bonds or pay out any dividends. However, in order to try and increase our stock price, we plan to buy back 500,000 outstanding shares of Elite Production stock in year 5, quarter 3. Our industry forecast predicted an increase in sales, so revenues from previous quarters were used to support expanding production and related expenses. Therefore, we did not invest profits into time deposits or other financial investments. Our forecasts indicate that there would be enough income cash flow to be able to support increased production without getting any support from the banks. The sales revenues did well enough that there was cash in equity to pay out dividends of $500,000 in year 5 Q3. This is the only variance between our planned and actual financial management targets in that year. Again, our original plans were to focus on expanding the company, investing in the production plants, and employee training so that we can accommodate the sales growth of the industry and try to hit our forecasted targets to maintain the lead and possibly grow our market share. The year 6 plan was very similar to the year 5 plan. No bank loans, bond issues, and no CD investments were planned. A buyback of another 500,000 shares of stock in Q3 was also planned for year 6. The justification for this was to reduce the total stocks available and to hopefully increase our stock price. The plan was to buy back the stocks in year 6 Q3, but due to excess cash from previous quarter, the buyback took place in quarter 1 of year 6. We also repurchased 500,000 bonds in order to improve the company's credit rating and to reduce the long-term liability. These were the only variances between our planned and actual targets for year 6. This section describes the decision-making process and variances from the income statement, cash flow statement, and balance sheet. Elite Productions takes several steps when making decisions regarding production, marketing, and staffing. Each production function is linked together by the financial structure of the company. In order to efficiently and effectively allocate the necessary funds to each function, we utilize several tools to justify our decisions. Our decision-making process for production began with forecasting product demand using multiple regressions that compared factors like gross domestic product and consumer price index in the market of the targeted region. Consumer and industry research reports identified which models are in the highest demand in a particular region. Combining the demand and consumer research, our team arrives at an optimal number of units to produce for each region for the quarter. Elite Productions' primary goal is to lead in market share and sales, so stockouts are never an option. Therefore, additional units, approximately 15%, are produced to cover unexpected sales spikes. This forecasting approach puts the company in the position to get the best product in the market and to increase our market share and net income. Having a new product in the market required an effective advertising campaign to keep customers interested in the product, and it was crucial to have the right number of sufficiently trained salespeople to get those products into the customer's hands. Having trained employees is only part of the equation when discussing sales. Salespeople have to be confident and motivated, and Elite Productions had to make sure that each salesperson was compensated with a competitive salary and generous commissions. In the first 3 quarters of year 3, few sales employees left for other companies. But once the NiStock line started production, the compensation for sales employees was the highest in the industry. The biggest variances in the income statement were the income statement shows that there was a variance between the forecasted and actual cost of goods sold, value-added tax, sales commission, transportation expense, storage expense, bond interest, and foreign currency adjustment. In each case, the cause of the variances was the result of a combination of smaller than expected growth in the industry overall and overly aggressive forecasts. The cost of goods actual number was about 25% lower than the forecast. The value-added tax is directly linked with the lack of growth in sales in the industry. It also deviated more than 25% from the forecasted amount. favorable to the company's bottom line. The sales commission was lower than the forecasted by 21%, and the transportation expense came in under 29% of its forecast. The biggest variances in the income statement were in the storage expense and the foreign currency adjustment. In year 6, the expectation of increased industry growth drove Elite Productions' decisions to expand the company and accommodate for that growth. When the industry did expand as expected, there was a lot of extra inventory for 2 quarters that resulted in higher storage expenses. Those 2 quarters accounted for the storage expense overrun. The bond interest variance was due to the repurchase of bonds in year 6, quarter 1. There was no plan to buy back any bonds in the forecast. We had a favorable bond interest expense of 24% as a result of the buyback of 500,000 of our bonds. The biggest issue that drove down our comprehensive income was the foreign currency adjustment. We were expecting a greater foreign currency adjustment in a favorable position, but instead had a 104% negative variance. This resulted in missing our comprehensive income target by 5%, which is relatively close considering the very volatile foreign currency market. The cash flow statement for year 6 on the whole was disappointing. There were no investing transactions by Elite Productions, and the financing receipts were disappointing. But this was largely due to the goal of utilizing the sales revenue to finance the company's growth and expansion. The largest variance between the forecast and the actual on this statement were from the interest paid, production costs, and net financing cash flow. However, the operating receipts were favorable, with the interest paid category being 24% less than planned. The operating receipts, the 500,000 bond buyback, were favorable, with the interest paid category being 24%, had a variance of 27% in our favor. This is a double-edged sword. However, the operating receipts were favorable, with the interest paid category being 24% less than planned, the 500,000 bond buyback being the reason for that variance. The production cost had a variance of 27% in our favor. This is a double-edged sword, however. This variance was due to lack of industry growth, as well as reduced unit production costs for our products, which reduced the total units produced. The net financing cash flow was affected by one of the earlier quarters where there was a forced loan of $706,000. This was a feature of the game, but we are still unsure of exactly why it was paid back in the next quarter. This was one of the areas that resulted in a 100% variance because there has been nothing forecasted. We were not expecting to have any bank loans in relation to the company. We thought that the company's cash flow would suffice, and we would be able to finance our growth and operations from that. Large variances for inventory due to a net manufacturing plan for the accounts payable, bonds payable, as well as accumulated foreign currency adjustments. Although we ended inventory at a positive net 97% positive cash, we came in at 1,385,000 units, and we were expecting to end the year with 704,000 units. The reason for this was the decline of the industry sales. In the first quarters of year 6. We had expanded our America plant to accommodate forecasted future growth in sales. We had 2 quarters of overproduction, which caused us to have an inventory balance exceeding our expectations. In the third quarter, we closed 2 of our second shift lines to accommodate the decline in the industry, bringing down the inventory. Unfortunately, we did not adapt quick enough to accommodate the downturn in the industry. We made the mistake of adding 2 production lines in year 5, which drove down our net manufacturing plant performance. Elite Productions was expanding, but the market wasn't. This was the reason why we had a variance in our net manufacturing plant on our balance sheet. The $1,153,000 was basically the amount we were expecting to pay to expand the plant again, and then add 2 more lines. But we didn't realize that the plant was already set up to 10 lines. The liabilities line item shows a 24% variance for accounts payable. This is directly related to the reduction in our growth. In the last 2 quarters of year 6, we closed 2 lines and 2 second shifts in the Americas plant, which reduced our raw material production and reduced our accounts payable. For the bonds outstanding, we had a variance of 25% on our balance sheet due to the buyback of bonds, which we had not forecasted in our plan. For the accumulated foreign currency adjustment, the forecast that we used didn't fall in line with what the foreign currency actually did. This resulted in a 216% variance.
For this portion of the slides, we will be looking at the SWOT analysis for Elite Productions. The biggest strengths that Elite Production has is market share. The other strengths that we have, that although we have higher production costs, it's not growing at a rate of the industry. Because of our productivity and our training initiative and future expansion in NISTOC, we will be able to get a more competitive production cost. Another strength is that our selling cost is lower than any of the other companies. Although we have a higher production cost, it helps to keep us competitive because our selling expenses per unit is lower than the other companies. The biggest weakness that we have, even though it's one of our opportunities, production cost, as well as the fact that we have excess inventory. The weakness comes from our companies are coming at a much lower production cost that they're gaining on us in market share because we haven't increased our price. We are very weak in America 3 and have lost a lot of market share there. We have an opportunity to expand in NISTOC. This will reduce our production cost and help us to increase our market share, maintain consistency, and be a continuing ongoing concern. Another opportunity that we have is shifting operations from America to NISTOC. In doing this, we'll try to get rid of our second shift lines to reduce our production cost and increase our profitability. In reducing our second shifts, we will reduce our premium price for our employees, which will also help bring down our production cost. As of now, we don't see any new threats. There aren't any new companies entering into the market and the industry. The other companies are slowly gaining on us in market share. As companies get weaker and other companies become the leader in the industry, they're getting a little bit closer to us in market share. Company 2 seems to be a threat to our company as of now. They have exceeded us in net income and they're growing stronger. Finally, we come to the portion where we look at that we learned. In order for a company to thrive and function in the industry, they should know the rules and understand what's going on. By basing decisions on true and accurate information, management is better able to manage what is going on. In year 3 and year 4, we expanded our plant and in addition added lines which were not necessary. If we had expanded in NISTOC instead of expanding our plant in America and adding second shifts, we would have lowered our production cost. Another lesson that we learned was that business, there is no set solution to making your company strive. Everything is constantly changing and we need to work and adjust our positions on many things in order to keep the company running. For example, there were times where we had to pull second shifts in order to maintain our inventory and not stack out. By being able to look at the information and adapt, we were able to keep our inventory in stock and the business running. Thank you.